Welcome to HCEC's Issues and Insights. I'm George Pennington, your occasional host, and I have with me Professor, is it DeVette? DeVette Sweeney, who is President, CEO, and Chief Custodian for Central Kentucky Community Foundation. Used to be Educational Foundation.
It did.
Is that
yes,
right?
Yes, very good. You rattled all that off.
Oh my gosh. Tell us about the foundation. Tell us about you. I chatted with you last year, I believe, didn't I?
Yes, I think so.
And so give us your background a little bit. You don't have to give your ACT scores unless you want to brag.
Oh, good.
but you did agriculture economics, if I remember.
Very
did you?
good memory, yes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. At UK or EKU?
UK.
At UK, okay. So give us your background.
That was a long time ago, though.
You were a long time ago, girl. Yeah. And those abacus.
With
slide rules and abacus, wasn't it? Yeah,
a lot of life since then.
So give us your background and then how long you've been here and what you're into and then all about the foundation, please.
Yeah, so I did graduate from UK with a degree in agriculture, and that's where my origins are. Grew up in farming family.
Where'd you grow up?
Mercer County.
Mercer County. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay, sure. Yeah.
So just up the road.
Just down the road.
A little bit.
Down the parkway.
And since then, worked a few different places, and then ended up in the nonprofit world for a while, and moved here in 2008.
Okay. I didn't know when. Okay.
2008, and started with the foundation, which then was North Central Education Foundation.
It was North Central Education Foundation. Okay.
In 2010, and I've been there, been with the foundation since then. And in 2011, we did do a little bit of a reorg and transition to a community foundation, which gave us a little bit broader platform for some of the work that we were already doing, and sort of opened up some new opportunities for the foundation, but more importantly for the community that we serve. So we became Central Kentucky Community Foundation then.
Okay, gotcha. Now, for instance, when EC3 came in, y'all donated that land to them, or how'd that work?
Yes. So the foundation started with its history in education, helping found Elizabethtown Community College at the time.
So,
that's where we started in 1960. Bought the land where ECTC is now.
Right.
226 acres there. And over the years, gifted a lot of that land to ECC, to Elizabethtown Independent Schools for the original vocational school that is now the technical school
I didn't know that.
Component of ECTC.
Sure.
The University Drive ball fields for the city. Of course, some of that land got taken with the bypass.
Sure.
Then land for the Hardin County Public Library.
Right, you gave that.
EC3 most recently.
Sure.
And then, of course, we just built our new office and community space there next to the library on some of that remaining land.
So you've got a new office?
We do.
Tell me about that, young lady.
We have the Home of Philanthropy located next to the Hardin County Public Library on Jim Owen Drive. We just had our grand opening in November.
Good.
Glad to have better accessible office space for our customers that come in and the folks that we work with. But most importantly, we're glad to have an entire lower level meeting space called the Community Hall that gives us the opportunity to bring groups in, to host more things to help our community, but also to help serve our nonprofit community that does such great work, and sometimes just needs space to bring people together and do those things. So we have
you've got a fair amount of space down there, right?
We do. It's about 4,000 square feet down there.
A little kitchenette kind of thing? Is that right? Okay.
And so, great place for folks like United Way was doing grant workshop training there this morning before I left. Lots of our nonprofit partners have already been making use of the space for different meetings, volunteer trainings, workshops, even board retreats, all kinds of things like that. We were able, and I know we're going to talk about scholarships, but as a foundation, we've been able to do things that we did not have the space or the opportunity to do before, including Tuesday night, we had a Scholarship Central workshop.
Oh, did you?
Open, any students, ECTC, high school students, parents come in. We did.
So you had it downstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Had it there so they could come in. They could work on applications. We were there to help answer questions, work them through any challenges they had, to help them with that scholarship process.
Okay. Now, when you have your meeting with all the people that are going to help, and a lot of people help score all the applications, will you have it now
We will.
downstairs instead of at the library?
We will.
Okay.
We struggled sometimes to find a space to have those
It is.
kinds of events.
We were in that little computer room, weren't we?
Yeah, there were, there's not a lot of options, and there's high demand for those. And so the ability to be able to do the trainings, to offer the things that we need to offer, now we're excited to be able to do that better.
Yeah. And people, if you haven't gotten out there, it's right there by the library, and it's a nice facility. It really is.
Thank
It's
you.
a nice facility.
Yes, we're excited.
I was surprised they put a spa in your office, but whatever. I guess you've earned it. I guess you've earned it.
Now you know I'm going to get phone calls.
I'm kind of surprised.
I'm going to be getting phone calls now,
and
George.
you should.
Thanks.
And you should. Yeah, you should
No spa.
Wear you out about
No
that
spa.
spa.
But
in
today
there.
would be a good day for one.
Yes, it would. Okay. If you would, go ahead and tell us about anything you want to, but I know it's getting ready to be scholarship time, right?
It is scholarship time, and we want to talk about scholarships.
Let's talk about they have a process. Now, if I'm a student, 12th grade student, and I want to apply for a scholarship, do I have to reapply for everyone, or how does that work?
So we tried to make that easy. We have an online portal called Scholarship Central.
Scholarship Central.
Students can get to it from our website,
Okay.
ckcf4people.org, log in. They create an account, just like you would create an account for anything.
Sure.
If you have an email address, you can create an account. You register. When you do that, when a student does that, they go in and say, I live in this county, I go to this school,
Okay.
here's what I'm planning to do for college. And when they create that account and they log in, then they will see one common application.
Good.
They fill out their, their list of activities, they answer those questions, they enter their financial information, they do all of that one time. And then based on the information that they've put in, the system provides them a list of scholarships that they may be eligible for.
Okay.
They go through and select the ones that they want to apply for based on the criteria.
So they can apply for more than one.
They can apply for as many scholarships on there as they are eligible with that one common application.
Right.
Now, some scholarships may have additional requirements.
Right, like a student at a certain school or a certain school district or something?
Right, or it may require an essay.
Okay.
Or a letter of recommendation that speaks to why they fit this scholarship.
Okay.
So they may have a few additional components to
Right.
complete, but they never have to complete that core application
that core part.
again.
That's fairly efficient. How long have you had that part of the process?
6 years.
So you have, okay, okay.
Yeah,
good.
we're actually on version 2.0, as we call it now. We did it. The first one lasted about 5 years, and then it was just time for some upgrades. And so last year we relaunched.
Was there software that already did that, or did you have to tailor some software? How'd that work?
We talked about that high school senior going on there, but a lot of our scholarships are open for students of any range. Those adults going back to school.
Is it?
People continue their education at HCEC, and so because of that, we didn't really find a software on the shelf
Gotcha.
that fit the various entry points we
Right.
would have students coming to us from, and the ability to tailor those scholarship applications to work. So we ended up having to develop our own system.
Okay.
We hired somebody to do that and been very, very pleased because it gives us what we
Right,
say we
sure.
offer, and that's personalized service for our donors so that we can do what they want to do and still make it as seamless and efficient for students as possible.
Gotcha. Now, tell the audience roughly how many scholarships, what, I have an idea of what you gave out last year. It was a chunk, wasn't it?
So this year there's about $400,000 available on Scholarship Central.
Whoa.
Now the majority of those are funds held by the foundation,
Okay.
are our funds. But we also have scholarship partners that are putting scholarships on there as well to take advantage of that online process.
Sure.
And to attract more student applicants. So when you put all that together, there's about $400,000 available for students in our region. Most of those being for Hardin and LaRue County, but
Okay.
there are some out there specifically for Washington County, specifically for Nelson County.
Is Hart in our Hart's in our
specifically for Hart
Hart
County. And then a lot of scholarships that are just open to everybody in those counties. But some drill down and are school specific.
Sure.
They're open, only to students at John Hardin or only at North, E-Town, Central. And so those will populate in that student's list when they register, and then they just need to go in and look at the criteria. One of them may say, you need to have been a varsity athlete. Okay, well, maybe I'm not a varsity athlete, so I'm not eligible for that one.
Oh, but you were. You so were.
But it's given them the list,
yes.
The list to consider, but it's not going to populate scholarships. For that student from Central Hardin, it's not going to populate a scholarship that you have to be going to Washington County to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all scholarships for ECTC are on there. Both ECTC itself has scholarships, and the foundation has scholarships specifically for people going to ECTC, regardless of how old they are, what they've already studied, how far along they are in their education. There are scholarships open to anyone attending ECTC.
Now, do some individuals, let's say I pass, or let's say I have some extra money before I even pass, okay? If I want to set up a scholarship, what do I do?
Call me.
And I want to set it up through you because you got an efficient system of getting applicants.
Just give me a call. Let me know you want to get together. We love to talk with people, find out what they want to do. So most of our scholarships start with a conversation.
Okay.
What kind of student do you want to support? Why is education important to you, so that we can tailor a scholarship that reaches what you want to accomplish? And for some people, they're focused on a certain school that they maybe want to provide for a student at, or a certain field of study. We have, we have a family from Meade County that established a nursing scholarship in memory of their wife mother who had a passion for nursing and had invested her life in that. So they have a scholarship for students from Meade County going into nursing. So people tie it to different things. There's different things that matter. And sometimes people just want to help with scholarships. They may not have a certain area, and we work across enough that we can provide some guidance in, okay, here's sort of a gap area that we see. We've got a lot of scholarships that focus in this area. We sort of see the need to help, in this area, and so we can provide some guidance for people in that regard too. Because not all scholarships, not everybody wants them to be, for that top academic achiever, that 4.0, that blow the ACT out of the water. Because a lot of times there's a lot of resources available for those students. And some are need-based, but not all of our scholarships are need-based. And sometimes the need component is just a component. It's not the overriding factor.
I got you.
So students do have to submit their FAFSA, showing where they've applied for that financial aid. A lot of times people think, well, I know I'm not going to get any financial aid because we make too much money, so why bother doing it? For most scholarships and university scholarships as well, they're going to require that just to make sure that people have completed it and to see what that family situation, that financial situation looks like. Doesn't necessarily mean that that all of the scholarships are going to have a need-based component, because not all of ours do. But it's just one of those steps to make sure that we're looking across the whole of the student and looking at verifiable information. Okay.
Now, let's say I'm with the Garden Club, and I want to support scholarships for people interested in biology or agriculture. We could just give that ourselves, but we could just go to you and say, can you run it for us? Is that the way it works?
It does, and we've added several this year doing that.
You did?
So that the students don't have to fill out so many of those one-off applications, and so many of those are still in paper form, which our 18-year-olds aren't real keen on paper. No, and so to help the Garden Club get more applications, hopefully have stronger applications, and also to help our students, we're glad to take that administrative piece and do that.
Are some scholarships renewable?
Some are. Of course, that takes a larger pot of money to be able to make a scholarship renewable, so most aren't. but a few are, and those are pretty special for students.
A lot of people apply for those, right?
Yes, they do, because then you're not competing again.
Right.
And we know that there's a lot more scholarships dollars available for people when they're graduating from high school for that freshman year.
That first year.
And by the time they get to that junior and senior year, it gets harder.
It does.
It gets harder to pay.
Yes.
There's just not as many opportunities out there for them.
Yeah.
So those renewable scholarships are valuable.
Yeah. Now, last year, did y'all award close to $300,000 in scholarships?
We did. The foundation itself.
The foundation itself did.
Awarded close to $300,000, about $286,000
$286.
of foundation scholarship funds.
That's foundation funds.
Yes, and so like I said, we have some additional scholarships available on Scholarship Central through partnerships with, like the Garden Club.
My Garden Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when we're telling students what's out there, it's about $400,000 this year.
Okay. And all total last year, yours plus, was it close to that, or was this year's up?
This year is up. This year is up. Last year would have probably been about 325 or so.
Wow, it is up. It really is. So if I want to do a scholarship, I can invest my money and just provide the money there, or I can give the money to you and let your foundation invest it. Is that right?
Yes. And that gift is tax deductible.
Okay.
Whichever way you do it, the gift is tax deductible.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and just I'll give you time to tell anything you want to about events you've done, upcoming events. I'm glad you mentioned the one you're having that for students. Oh, you already had that one.
We had that last week, but we do have a scholarship fair coming up on February the 10th from 5 to 7 p.m. It will be at our Home of Philanthropy, 200 Jim Owen Drive, and that's an opportunity for anyone in the community that offers scholarships, businesses, other nonprofit organizations, anyone that has scholarships to come. They can set up a table, give out their applications, and students will come through and be able to find out about all those opportunities.
Yes.
And so this is the first year we've done that because,
of
course, we have the space
to
do that, and we want to help people get the word out about their scholarships, and we want to help students find out about those scholarships.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing coming up soon. But overall, Scholarship Central is open. It's live for people to make applications. It opened January 1. It deadline's March 1.
Deadline's March 1.
March 1 is the deadline.
We've got a month and a few days. Is that right?
Yes.
Month?
So students need to get in there because you may be applying for 10, 15 scholarships with one application. It would be worth taking your time and doing a good job. You really want to spend a little time on that. Also, if you're going to have to complete some additional components, like get a letter of recommendation, write a short essay, and by essay I mean usually they're 500 words. We're not talking about dissertations.
It's a healthy half page.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
It's not burdensome. Students get scared when they hear that. Oh, I have to write an essay. But that's really an opportunity for those reviewers to get an insight into the student that you don't get otherwise. But you need time to do those. So don't wait till February 28th to log in. Even though there's an extra day this year, we got leap day.
We do.
So students this year get one extra day. But
it's a leap year.
If it is leap year.
Presidential campaigns, elections tend to be leap years, don't they? Yes, they do.
So students still need to get in there and get started on it so that they can get things done by that deadline. A lot of times people want to know how these scholarships get selected.
Yes.
Just in case you wonder, George, I don't get to sit there and
oh,
pick.
you so cheat. I know what you do. You're in your spa just saying, I like that person. I know what you do.
But you know very well how that works. And we use a lot of volunteer reviewers. We'll probably need about 150 scholarship reviewers this year. And so with the online process, it's easier to make those blind for the reviewers, so the reviewers don't see the students' names. They don't know whose scholarship they're reviewing, which is a very important part of the integrity of the process. And they go through and they score those applications, and the average score from the reviewers for each scholarship, that selects the winner.
Okay, good. And so if somebody has a tendency to score high, they will have a tendency to score everybody high, and so it's a relative mix, isn't it? So it kind of would statistically kind of work out there. Okay. Are there some scholarships that aren't applied for even within your system?
We do sometimes. You know, when you ask about establishing a scholarship fund, sometimes people are pretty particular on the kind of student that they want to award to. If you want,
of course, David Letterman has that scholarship for like C students or something, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah. So
probably.
if you have a very specific scholarship, you know, graduating from a certain high school, going to a certain college in a certain field of study, there may be years when there's not somebody that checks all those boxes.
I got you.
But we really work to, if there's quality candidates out there, you know, to get those applications through. But we also have an obligation to the donor to honor the integrity of what they wanted to award to.
Yes.
And so you can't just you know, mold yourself to fit a scholarship. Students need to put their best foot forward and say what they are, but what they are is what they are. So there are sometimes that there's scholarships that don't have very many, if any, applicants. But that's rare. That is rare. But what I tell students is this is $400,000 that's available here locally in this region. You're not competing.
It will just be dispersed or promised.
It
by
will be.
End of April, right?
It will be. It will go out. These are not, you know, pie in the sky dollars. These are not $400,000 across the country, one person every state.
And it's not in euros either.
No,
is it? No, it's
these are local dollars here that people have given out of their generosity.
Yes.
You know, these are not tax dollars. This is not financial aid. This is, I want to help a student go to school.
Yes.
I care about the future of our youth in our community, and people have said, I'm going to give from my hard-earned dollars to help make that happen. And that's pretty special.
Yes. Now, the foundation, is that how it's run all these years, through donations, or has it been federal or state money, or how does it work?
Foundation has been entirely funded by the generosity and the belief of this community.
Wow.
We have never been funded by state or federal dollars. It is truly off the belief that we add value to our community. And that says a lot, both about the work the foundation has done for many years, long before I was here, but also about what our community values.
Yeah. What year did you say they started?
1960.
1960.
This is year 60.
Wow. I kind of remember those days. I remember those days.
I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You read the papers. You've heard about them. Yeah, they had hot summers then too. You know. Yeah, I'm just saying they did. They had hot summers then too. Okay, so if I want to help score, volunteer my time, I would be randomly assigned to or assigned to a scholarship to score. How does that work?
So we have some scholarships that are pretty general, and we just look for people that are interested and willing to do it. And then we have some that are specific, like a nursing scholarship, and we try to find at least a couple people to be on that panel that have some background in that area. So we do try to, you know, when possible and appropriate, to connect people with scholarships that are relevant for their interests.
Sure. Absolutely.
If people want to review, they can just give us a call at 270-737-8393.
Say that again, please.
270-737-8393. They can go to our website, ckcf4people.org. All of our contact information is on there. Shoot us an email, whatever's the easiest.
And if you're at a basketball game in the community, you might get a card from Coach Sweeney here saying, call me up and let's put you on the list.
But reviewing is a great way for people to volunteer and give back a little bit. It will definitely solidify your belief in the future of our youth when you see some of those applications.
Last year, I read some and they were strong.
Yes.
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I was. Many of them were quite strong. Yeah.
And just like the application process for our students, the review process is all online. So you don't have to find a common time and come together and sit around our table with lots of stacks of paper. You can do it from your couch at 10 o'clock in the morning, your recliner at 10 o'clock at night. You can do it from Florida or...
I actually think I was at a conference last year or somewhere out of town. Maybe in Nashville, a concert. I don't remember. But you know, I could do it then. I remember I was doing it. Late one night.
It's a defined volunteer opportunity. You know, there's about a 2-week window. Check in, get engaged, do it, and then you're finished.
So roughly a 2-week window. Okay. So you got to.
So it's not a forever commitment. Yes. It's get in there and do it. We have lots of people that do it year after year, and we really appreciate that. But if somebody does it for 2 or 3 years. This year's a bad year, they get busy, it just the timing doesn't work, it's not a big deal. But that's also part of why we have to get some new people every year as we add more scholarships to help fill out those reviewers.
Will you have it, do you advertise that on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or what? Or newspaper? How do you approach that?
All of those. So probably early next week, we'll be starting to recruit for reviewers, and you'll be seeing things on Facebook, Instagram, in the newspaper, on all of those different channels. And we'll try to get into, you know, some of our civic groups that we know have people that you know give back to our community and ask them to help us out. All
right. Yeah. So I think we got about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes and 43 seconds or something. I'm just making that up, but it's something like that. So if there's things I didn't remember or to ask or anything you want to say to the public, she did give me a tour of the place.
Yes. And I would say anybody that's interested, come by.
It's a nice facility.
We'd be glad to have you give a tour.
Just tell them in advance so you can warm that spa up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But beyond scholarships, there's a lot of opportunities for people to support education. And when when you said, well, if I want to do a scholarship, what do I do? Yes. And that's a great place to start. There's also lots of other ways to help support education, and we're glad to work with people to consider other options beyond just scholarships.
Sure.
Those scholarships they are important in investing in 1 or 2 students' lives usually. But there's some things we can do with schools that can invest in whole classrooms and making some broader opportunities around supporting education.
Sure.
And so we welcome that opportunity just to say, well, what is important to you in education or in our broader community, and put our heads together around how we can help accomplish those things. We had an example of that that we announced last fall, the Financial Foundations Fund, which helps support financial literacy in our schools.
Got you.
So someone who said, I feel like that's how I can help impact youth is by helping invest in their financial knowledge. And you know all about that and how important that is. So there's lots of ways that we can help donors carry out what they want to accomplish.
Sure.
But usually that starts with sitting down and having a conversation.
About how many scholarships do y'all offer? Are there like more than 10?
This year we'll award about 200.
200 different ones?
Yes, to 200 different students.
200 different students. How many different scholarships?
From probably just
20?
over 100.
There's 100 different ones?
Mm-hmm.
100 different ones?
Maybe more, because we've added a couple. We added a couple this week.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over 100.
Yeah.
I had some idea after last year's, but I didn't realize it was that many. Wow, that's awesome. So I won't make you list them in alphabetical order.
Oh, good, thank you.
But if there's any particular ones you want to talk about, you feel free. But then you probably don't want to.
You're going to get in trouble.
You'll still be in trouble. So just go online, look at them. You can browse through them. Is that right?
You can browse through on scholarships on our website, and you can browse through the entire list of all of our scholarships. They're alphabetically. They're not broken up, by school or county.
So it is alphabetical.
You can see the full list.
Coach, I think we have 30 seconds left, and I was here last hour with Professor Carl Cornelius, and I forgot to thank our production crew.
We can't.
Coach Dale was there, Coach Anna was there, Coach Noah was there. They did the choreography, the production, the editing, And that's a wrap up. And we do appreciate you here for doing Issues and Insights. And I'm George Pennington, and Coach Sweeney's right here, and apply for those scholarships.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.